You take a Tesla Model S drivetrain. So the drivetrain is comprised of the motor, the inverter, transmission, and differential, right? So that unit on a Tesla is about this wide and about this deep. And they have different ones that vary in power, but it's generally 350 horsepower. The Lucid equivalent is about this big by this. It fits in a carry-on bag and can go in an overhead compartment in a passenger plane. That's 650 horsepower.
So we've known each other, 12, 13 years at this point?
Something like that.
Crazy long time.
Seems like forever.
You are married and have children.
Yes.
I am not a practical human being. But both of us don't like practical vehicles.
Well, yeah. I think
For the
that's
most
fair.
part.
I think we
I
like...
mean, you have a dune buggy.
Yes, yeah.
So how does a guy who starts a car company, which is effectively what you've done, in today's day and age where what sells is SUVs, even though I don't like them, how do you end up with basically an electric Bentley?
Right.
A sedan?
Yeah. And from the beginning, we were always like focused on how do we get maximum performance, maximum efficiency, maximum space out of this otherwise traditional vehicle format. And I think that was the starting point because I felt like that still had yet to be achieved with any electric vehicle.
So stepping back at it, looking from a business perspective, again, you and I, we want 911s, we want dune buggies. That's what we want. But no one agrees with us.
Right.
The civilians...
That's fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fringe.
We are fringe of fringe.
Yeah.
But the civilians, they want CX-5s.
Right.
They want Mercedes GLS. Was it a tough decision from a business perspective when you guys were creating Ativa and Lucid?
I think once we made the decision we're going to go for a luxury segment, and that was a business decision.
Yeah.
If you step back from the luxury segment, certainly there's a lot of SUV in the luxury kind of, let's say 65,000 and above. There are a lot of luxury, but if you look at the addressable market of sedans from a mid-size to a full-size sedan, and then you throw in four-door sports coupes, high performance, that's a huge market, addressable market globally. So it wasn't like we said, hey, is it growing to the degree of SUVs right now? No, definitely not. But it's still hugely addressable, and we felt like the opportunity for innovation in that segment was still really, really high.
Okay, so innovation, that's a good point. This, to me, it looks like a sedan. I've driven it. To me, it feels like a sedan in its execution. How have you innovated a sedan here?
Probably the biggest thing is the packaging layout of the vehicle. So one thing that everybody needs to understand is Lucid doesn't buy all of its motors, battery packs, all the gear that makes the car drive is designed in-house. Most of the electric cars, with the exception of Tesla, that are coming on the market right now, are car companies just buying off-the-shelf motors, batteries, electronic hardware, cobbling it together to make an electric car. We've developed all of that from scratch. The benefit to that is we get ultra high energy density, power density out of our motors, inverters, and all of our electronic hardware, and very compact, highly powerful battery packs. That allows us and gives us advantage to how to lay out the vehicle. If you think of the traditional luxury sedan, it's usually characterized by V8, V12 out front, big old grille because big old vertical radiator, long hood, swept back, that classic profile.
Bentley
Love it.
Mulsanne.
Yeah, love it. Not debating that, but that's a profile born out of internal combustion because the hardware defines the profile. The long hood, a big old grille on the front, is a result of the internal combustion motor and transmission and cooling needs. So then you get that long dashed axle, you pull the passengers back. So then the car has to be a certain size because the motor takes up so much space, right? So with EV, and more importantly with Lucid EV and our compact components, we're able to make the cabin longer because now the hood can be shorter. So the cabin comes forward.
So I'm going to stop you there. When you say compact components, your obvious competitor, and frankly, the people who used to run your company were from Tesla. When we say electric motors, how much more compact would they be than, say, a Tesla?
Yeah. So I'll just have to do it with my hands. But you take a Tesla Model S drivetrain. So the drivetrain is comprised of the motor, the inverter, transmission, and differential, right? So that unit on a Tesla is about this wide and about this deep. And they have different ones that vary in power, but it's generally 350 horsepower. The Lucid equivalent is about this wide.
Just the motor, or including
motor,
the
inverter, and transmission.
Wow.
And differential. It's about this big by this. It fits in a carry-on bag and can go in an overhead compartment in a passenger plane. That's 650 horsepower.
So we've kind of learned this packaging secret from i3.
Exactly.
I would argue the i3, I like it. Like, if I needed a commuter car, I'd buy that. $7,500 used. I plug it in at the airport, get the electricity, and I'm great.
Yeah.
But no one really bought that car because it changes. It doesn't look like a car.
Right.
I've always argued that Franz, his success at Tesla was making the Model S look like an Audi
100%.
A7 because everybody wanted an A7, even though it didn't need to be.
Yeah.
Why didn't you make this format different, especially you're a couple of steps farther away from Tesla where your packaging's even tighter? Like, for example, bringing the A-pillar farther forward, making it look completely wild. Was there a discussion of that at all?
Yeah, sure. It's a combination of things. It's a combination of understanding the consumer. You know, I never wanted to create a car that was so provocative that people had to turn to their neighbor and say, well, you know, have their neighbor ask, like, why did you get rid of your Mercedes? You know, they still want something that is like elegant, sporty. Futuristic's good. Crazy futuristic, like, we can do crazy futuristic designs all day long. But I personally don't think the target luxury sedan or sports sedan consumer wants something that crazy futuristic.
So this was a very specific decision on your part as head of design.
Yeah.
To say we kind of still need to be within the design parameters what was set by Bentleys and Rolls Royces years ago.
People, whether they know it or not, have those images in their head when you say luxury sedan. That's how they determine if something has visual worth, right? They still have that. So, but I'm not trying to. I don't want to do a Bentley. I'm not trying to make something that looks traditional and old. I want it to look future-facing. But there has to be something in the design that says sporty, elegance, worthy. Well, if you just go pure future, people often say, well, that's futuristic.
You're too far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use the classic example. I had a neighbor, and he wanted to buy hybrid, and he's like, I'm just going to buy a Prius. And I'm like, dude, go check out the i3s. They're super cool. And he's like, what does it look like? I pull it up. And I like it personally. I drive it. He pull it, and he's like, you're joking, right? And I'm like,
that's the same response.
And that's not I'm not knocking on the design. What it is a statement, and it's a responsibility to the designers to be conscious of who your target customer is and their appetite for something different. And then you need to very carefully create something as forward and as advanced as you possibly can. It pushes them right to their taste boundary, but they still want it.
It's almost like the Lotus ethos of take as much weight as you can, just enough to keep it from falling in on itself.
Sure, yeah.
But this is related to design.
Design is a recipe just like anything else, right? You know how, like, you have certain recipes and you come to a certain market with that recipe and you got to tweak it for local tastes. It's the same recipe.
Yeah.
But you have to adjust it because certain herbs, certain spices are too much for the local palate.
Did everybody at Ativa and Lucid, were they buying into your recipe, or was there pushback on your recipe?
I think we all wanted to do an elegant car that we still, if I just mostly talking about Peter here, he wants something sporty. He wants something elegant. We didn't want to do something that was so outrageous that it was just, we didn't want to do a car that was just intentionally highly polarizing. I don't think that was the goal. I think we still wanted to put it in front of 100 people, target people, that the vast majority of them would say, yeah, that's a really good looking car.
I know this is asking a lot from you, but we've been friends for a long time. What are some segments you want to get into?
Yeah, I mean, having taken the plunge, in many ways, a more difficult challenge was to try to reinvent the sedan. I think that was a tough, we chose a tough way to start.
Not easy. I'd agree with you.
I think we could have said, you know what, let's do a sports car, let's do a pickup, let's do something we know nobody else has done, and we can, we're following after Model S, constantly being compared to Tesla. Looking at the competitors being Mercedes, BMW, Audi. That was a tough task. The logical thing is to start really thinking about where do we go with an SUV program. We've already announced that we're working on a program we call Project Gravity. And I personally feel there's a real opportunity in that space because having had kids now for some time, getting a truly spacious, functional SUV that is fun to drive, but has all the utility you need for 6-7 passengers, that is not a behemoth truck, hard to get around. There's very little choice. Even at the high end of the market, it's shocking. There's only really on one hand, I can count the vehicles that I think... Little
choice in the EV world, or little choice
in general,
EV and ICE?
In general.
Well, if you want to disagree with you. There's a lot of choice now.
So tell me the 3-row options in the luxury space.
Oh, 3-row. Okay, so GLS.
Yep, that's the big one.
Performance. You got me on the 3-row.
Right.
If it was 2-row, there's a lot.
Right.
But 3-row, it's GLS, and that's XB7.
X7.
XB7, Alpina.
Oh, yeah. Good example.
XB7.
Yeah, sure.
And then, you know what?
But even
I'm going to cheat here. X7 M50i.
Yeah.
So
and even if they're not high performance, if you really look at the 3-row options, and I highlight that because, look, who's got the money to buy a $85,000 SUV or a $100,000 SUV?
I still don't know who.
Right. Most of the time, those people have families.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that vehicle is the primary family vehicle, even if they have money. So that's a lot of people. That's a big market. X7.
Big market. What is that? 10,000 units a year?
Well, 10. I mean, the GLS is probably in the 20,000s alone.
Worldwide.
No, in the
Just
US.
In the US,
oh, yeah. They make a killing. Those are really high volume products.
What do you think in volume on this?
Well, we're shooting for 50s.
50,000?
Yeah.
50,000?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, when Model S first came out, in the second year, they were up to into the 50s with that vehicle.
So it would stand to reason that with an SUV, you'd think more than 50,000 because that's where the market's going.
It just depends on the price point. We haven't announced the pricing on that vehicle, but I think there's a real opportunity there,
And when are we going to see that?
We're shooting for late 23, 24.
Now you realize you and I have to build a SEMA version of that car together.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
We have to do it. What other segments are you thinking about?
Certainly, start to think about Lucid. The idea is to really establish the brand as a luxury product, a luxury company globally. Focuses on North America first, then Europe, Middle East, and then China last. And so the natural thing, once you've established that with a sedan and an SUV, is to start looking at a more affordable line of products, more in that mid-level.
Before a sports car.
I think so, yeah. Well, the other thing you have to keep in mind is there are opportunities to take the sedan or the Air much farther in the performance direction than we have even with the Dream Edition. So that's something we're also looking at.
So this is the point of the episode. We're going to have to turn around to the audience and see if they agree with your recipe. So it's a very specific question. Do you agree or do you not agree with Derek's recipe? These guys, they can be brutal.
Hey, bring it on.
Okay, he said bring it on. Anything else you want to hear from the audience in terms of feedback about design, feedback, or whatever?
Sure. I mean, I'm always open, to hear opinions and thoughts, and also, just where people see automotive space going. It's always fascinating to me to hear, especially enthusiasts. I have a ton of respect for enthusiasts and how they see vehicles,
Okay, so let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoMan TV all one word, MotoMan TV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, a little bit behind the scenes, we are here shooting a full inside the MotoMan studio with this guy here, which will be coming out in a couple of weeks. But what you don't know about it, it's the second time we've done it. He was my first ever inside the MotoMan studio guest. Just we did it without a camera in front of a live audience at the Automobile Driving Museum in El Segundo. Until we see you in the next episode, Bish Beta.